I grew up effectively in an Alice family as well. We referred to it back in the early 60s as just being lower middle income or lower middle class, whatever it was at the time. We had a nice house in the suburbs of Buffalo, but every Friday night on payday, I remember my mom asking the checkout woman to subtotal the groceries at 25 bucks. And if we went above 25 bucks, the Pop-Tarts went back. So it was one of those things that, you know, a lot of us have gone through, a lot of us have experienced it, and when you're a kid, you didn't necessarily realize the extent to which it was a problem. You knew what you had, you knew what you didn't have, but generally speaking, in our neighborhoods, we were kind of all in the same boat. I guess to my mom's eternal consternation, the house was never fully furnished, and so it was one of those reminders that we weren't quite getting there. So before we start our conversation, the question is, who is Alice and why is she here in Connecticut? Alice is a United Way-coined acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. Alice represents residents who earn above the poverty line but not enough to make ends meet. Alice consists of folks of every race, ethnicity, and gender, and is found in every community in Connecticut. Now, building on a 2012 study of New Jersey's Alice population that found 1/3 of the state's households cannot afford basic needs, United Ways in 5 states, in addition to Connecticut, are taking the lead to shed light on this population across the country. Now, the results of Connecticut's Alice study will be released on Labor Day 2014. The report will serve as a launching pad for United Way to engage its community and its civic, nonprofit, and corporate leaders in the challenges and opportunities available to Alice households. Now, today we're going to look at the results of the Metro Hartford Progress Points Report, which was just released this year, which gives an overview of the issues facing our community. Now, it represents the start of collective efforts of 9 partners, most of which are alliance partners and investors, to address the root causes of this region's challenges in order to create a more dynamic and prosperous community for all. Move on from here. Scott, let me start with you as the man behind this particular report, along with your colleagues. What was it about this report that may have surprised you with respect to the data you compiled?
Well, actually, to the first point, being the man behind the report, my job is basically scheduling meetings and looking at numbers, but this is really sitting on the efforts of a lot of different organizations and people, like what Oz called out, so the Community Foundation, United Way, Metro Hartford, the Urban League. I saw Adrian Cochran here earlier, Hispanic Health Council, Trinity College. There's a lot of different groups that have put time and effort into this for a long period of time, and it's because of the feeling that we need to have this shared perspective on shared challenges for the region, because the well-being is really regional in nature. One of the things that jumps out from the report that I think is probably surprising for many people that live in the region, maybe not people that are in the room right now, but is new information for a lot of people, is what we call the suburbanization of poverty. So the nature of poverty in this region has really changed very rapidly over the past couple of decades. It's not something that is an urban problem that is concentrated in the cities, although there is a very high degree of concentration of poverty in the city of Hartford, but has really expanded pretty rapidly out into the sort of inner and first ring suburbs. So there's now a whole cadre of suburbs around Hartford that have, you know, over 1,000 people living under the federal poverty line. And I think as we talk more about Alice's report and what the poverty line means, we'll start to get a sense that that's very restrictive, and there's a lot of people who have difficult circumstances that are, you know, above the poverty line or are employed. And as an economic competitiveness issue for the region, that's something that really is a regional issue. So if we have problems that are located in little pockets, that's one thing, but if that's really spreading throughout the entire region, that's a challenge for Greater Hartford as a whole. Yeah. To your point about income, one of the things that's particular about Connecticut is how many things are determined at a town level and how rapidly the status of people changes across town lines. One of the most striking facts that I've seen in the past year is if you drive down Farmington Avenue in Hartford, you cross the line on Prospect Avenue into West Hartford, the median income goes up by 4 or 5 times. So in the city of Hartford, there's neighborhoods where the median income is $15,000. That's a lot below $40,000. It's $25,000. Cross the line into West Hartford, you're into 6 figures. What's the difference? You know, why does that disjunction happen, particularly in Connecticut? It's an issue for Hartford, but it's an issue throughout the entire state. And that's one of the things I think we can particularly focus on here that might be different than other parts of the country.
Yeah, and John.